Welcome back to our series on wind savers. And here again is a platelet from a Pissardo harp, and you'll see that this is just like a piece of a standard reed plate. For a normal harmonica, looks like this, one after the other. There's a bunch of them, but on the Pissardo they're separated so you can work on them easier. But you can see that on the one side you've got a Breathsaver over here, and then the reed, and if you flip it over, it's just the opposite. You've got a wind saver and a reed on the other side. And so what that wind saver does is when the other reed is activating over here, it seals all the way around there so that it stays airtight. And we'll play a little easier for you. You know, more airtight instrument. Why is there air loss? Air rushes in around all the edges of the reed. You know, all those edges of the reed, air can rush in and out. That's why you set your reed gap so it's pretty tight. Why haven't diatonic harps had wind savers over the years? The reeds are quite small, and the small reeds tend to rest very close to the reed plate. And so they're kind of airtight to begin with. There are people who valve them, and a couple of harps out there that have valves to give you a little more control on bends and stuff. So, but a harp like Chromatic, they're quite long reeds, and they tend to be off the reed plate more so that they can, you know, activate with breath. And so they'll have to have wind savers or breath savers. Okay, so let's go into a little bit, since this is a detailed, long video series, and I'm not in a rush, and I hope you're not. Why do they go bad? They go bad for a lot of reasons. Sometimes when you're working on your harp and you're screwing stuff and it's working, oop, you slip and you just hit that breath saver and bang, it falls right off or gets dented. Or they kind of crimp like this. They'll crimp. They'll blow and fall off. I've had them come in my mouth while I'm playing. They just loosen up and let go. You know, maybe somebody's using a rubber-based glue to hold them on, and it lets go after a while. And so they age and become brittle, and very old wind savers, like on 20-year-old harps, don't really work very well, and part of maintenance is to take them all off and put them all on. Now, this repair project is probably the biggest wind saver project I've ever done for someone else, which is every single wind saver got torn off, or breath saver got taken off by the owner because they wanted new ones. They just took them all off and said, I want all new ones. Why? The harp's a few years old, and the new wind saver will be more supple and will actually work better. I think there were quite a few that there were problems with too. They just decided to do them all. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so we know now, you know, what is a wind saver? How do they work? They seal the reed slot next to the one that's playing, blow or draw. They're not on there, what happens? This harp won't sound exactly the same on that note, and a professional musician can hear the difference. They're like, it's just the tone's not right. You know, it's not quite the same. And it'll be more leaky, and it'll be harder to do bends and vibrato under great control, which require airtightness. So there are some problems. Okay, so now we're kind of ready to get started with what do we do first? Well, our next video is going to be all the tools of the trade.